So I apologize, you guys, and I will no longer talk about your statue or touch it ever again. I hope that I can live in peace here in South Korea and we could get past the situation and use it as a learning situation.
The controversial American live streamer Johnny Somali, already facing multiple legal charges in South Korea, has once again managed to document himself committing several new crimes just days before his upcoming court appearance. Hi, I'm Stacy from Gossips. Johnny Somali has built his online persona around provocative behavior that frequently crosses legal and ethical boundaries. In his most recent live stream, captured on March 31st, 2025, Somali demonstrated a concerning escalation in his criminal activities while broadcasting to viewers worldwide. Obstruction of business and public disturbance. The live stream initially began on the platform party.com before switching to YouTube. During this transition, Somali and his associate Alex Knoll launched into a tirade against Party.com's CEO, Brian Gallagher, making unfounded accusations about crypto mining. After moving to YouTube, Somali and his companions entered multiple establishments in South Korea where they proceeded to disrupt business operations. In one particularly egregious incident, Somali blasted loud text-to-speech, TTS, donations in restaurants, deliberately creating disturbances that prevented businesses from operating normally. Restaurant staff were visibly frustrated, ultimately telling Somali and his group to pay their tab and leave the premises due to their disruptive behavior. This pattern of obstruction of business is notably similar to previous charges Somali is already facing in South Korea, suggesting a complete disregard for his pending legal situation. As an immigration lawyer, Kim Joo-hyung explained regarding his current charges, foreigners are ordered to leave the country, either voluntarily or forcibly, if their criminal actions result in a fine of more than 3 million won, US $2,064.
If you can hear this, Brian Gallagher, I hate you, Brian Gallagher.
Threatening behavior with a weapon, a legal powder keg. The moment Johnny Somali pulled out a collapsible baton during his March 31st live stream marked a dangerous inflection point in his escalating legal saga. While his prior offenses, disrupting businesses, smashing bottles, and harassing locals, already placed him on thin ice, brandishing a weapon transformed his antics into a potential felony. Under South Korea's tightened public safety laws, enacted in response to a 2023 spike in violent crimes, even displaying a weapon in public without justification can trigger severe penalties. For Somali, a foreign national already facing deportation threats, this decision may prove catastrophically consequential. The baton incident, from provocation to criminal threat. The confrontation unfolded as restaurant staff demanded payment and ejected Somali's group for blaring disruptive text-to-speech donations. Footage shows Somali retreating initially before suddenly producing the baton, snapping it open, and taunting staff, "I'm sorry, I have a weapon right in my hand. He wants to fight me." This wasn't a fleeting gesture. He waved the baton menacingly for over 2 minutes while live streaming to thousands. Crucially, South Korean law distinguishes between passive weapon possession and active brandishing. Under Article 144 of the Criminal Code, using a weapon during obstruction of duties escalates charges to aggravated obstruction, punishable by up to 7.5 years in prison, a 50% increase over standard penalties. The legal ramifications deepen when considering the weapon's classification. While batons aren't explicitly banned, their use as tools of intimidation in public spaces violates revised statutes targeting dangerous objects carried without justifiable reason. Prosecutors have increasingly weaponized these laws since 2023, particularly against foreigners, as seen in a 2024 case where a tourist received a 3-year sentence for brandishing a pocket knife during a bar dispute. For Somali, whose prior obstruction charges already risked a 5-year term, the baton incident could compound his sentence through sequential prosecution, a common strategy in South Korea to maximize penalties for repeat offenders.
It's purple. No. No. Because the Jewish pussy is purple.
Self-defense claims, a non-starter. Somali supporters might argue he acted in self-defense, but South Korea's stringent self-defense laws render this defense implausible. Unlike US stand your ground statutes, Korean courts require proof that the defender faced an imminent, unavoidable threat and used proportionate force. In the live stream, staff members made no physical advances. Their demands to leave were verbal and nonviolent. By introducing a weapon first, Somali became the aggressor under legal frameworks. A 2025 Gangnam District Court ruling exemplifies this. A shopkeeper who stabbed a thief fleeing his store received a 4-year sentence, as judges deemed the threat neutralized once the thief turned to run. Somali's decision to escalate a nonviolent confrontation with a baton, captured on video, eliminates any plausible self-defense argument. Platform complicity and evidentiary value. The livestream itself now serves as a double-edged sword. While Somali likely intended it as content, South Korean prosecutors routinely use livestream archives as evidence, circumventing the need for witness testimony. This strategy proved effective in the 2024 conviction of influencer Soul Smasher, whose YouTube videos documenting subway disruptions led to a swift guilty verdict. However, Somali's case introduces a wrinkle. His brief platform suspension on Party.com and alleged evidence tampering by the platform's developers. If prosecutors prove Party.com deleted footage to shield Somali, both he and the platform could face obstruction of justice charges, a felony carrying up to 10 years imprisonment.
Basically what happens is when you connect to Party, your phone starts processing complex computational equations that are meant to confirm tokens on the blockchain. It is part of the ledger. You are giving Brian Gallagher money that directly goes to Mr. Bass and all these users on Party. And not Johnny. You're giving it to people who are like Mr. Bass.
The deportation domino effect. Even without additional charges, the baton incident alone likely seals Somali's deportation. Immigration lawyer Kim Joo-hyung notes that fines exceeding $3,102,064 trigger expulsion orders for foreigners. Aggravated obstruction convictions typically incur fines of 10 to 15 million won, far surpassing this threshold. And furthermore, South Korea's Immigration Control Act mandates deportation for any foreigner convicted of a weapon-related offense, regardless of jail time. Once deported, Somali would face a 10-year entry ban and permanent inclusion in immigration blacklists, effectively ending his Asia-focused streaming career. Psychological recklessness or calculated risk. The timing, days before his April 9th court date, raises questions about Somali's mindset. Forensic psychologist Dr. Lee Minji, analyzing his body language in the footage, observes manic euphoria and dissociative detachment as he wielded the baton. He's not just ignoring consequences, he's reveling in them, she noted in a 2025 Korea Herald interview. This aligns with broader patterns of self-sabotage. During a 2024 live stream in Tokyo, Somali laughed while being arrested, shouting, "Jail's gonna be my content palace." Whether this reflects mental health struggles or a nihilistic content strategy, the result remains the same, a rapidly closing legal net. For prosecutors, the baton incident is a gift, a clear, video-documented escalation that undermines any plea for leniency. As Somali's trial approaches, this single act of weaponized provocation may define his legacy, not as a rebel influencer, but as a case study in how viral notoriety collides with the rigid machinery of international law. Property damage. The live stream documented multiple instances of property damage, including Somali and his companions deliberately breaking bottles in restaurants. While Somali claimed one incident was accidental, the video clearly shows him laughing after the bottle smashes, suggesting intentional rather than accidental damage. They subsequently broke another bottle at a different establishment. Johnny Somali's legal troubles in South Korea. Somali has been under a travel ban in South Korea since November 2024, preventing him from leaving the country due to pending criminal charges. According to court documents, he faces multiple charges, including obstruction of business and violations of the Minor Offenses Act. At his first trial hearing, Somali pleaded guilty to all charges. Upcoming court date. The timing of these new crimes is particularly significant as Somali is scheduled to appear in court on April 9, 2025, just days after this latest livestream incident. During the broadcast, Alex Knoll can be heard advising Somali, "When you go to court on April 9th, you need to follow my advice and apologize and be very, very contrite and wear a suit, and you will get out of this country." This advice now seems woefully inadequate given the additional crimes Somali has committed on camera mere days before his court appearance. Immigration experts have noted that his existing charges alone would likely result in deportation from South Korea, and these new incidents will almost certainly compound his legal troubles.
When you go to court on April 9th, you need to follow my advice and apologize and be very, very contrite and wear a suit, and you will get out of this country.
Pattern of provocative behavior. This is far from Somali's first brush with the law while traveling abroad. He has established a pattern of provocative behavior across multiple countries. 1. In Japan in 2023, Somali faced legal troubles for similar disruptive behaviors. 2. In early 2024, he was detained in Israel. 3. In South Korea, beyond his current charges, Somali sparked outrage in November 2024 by kissing a statue commemorating comfort women, Korean women forced into sexual slavery by Japanese forces during World War II. Each of these incidents follows a similar pattern of deliberately provocative behavior designed to generate views and controversy for his streaming content. Platform bans. Somali's controversial content has resulted in him being banned from multiple streaming platforms. He was banned from Twitch before moving to Kick, only to be banned from that platform as well in May 2024. Before his current YouTube violations, he had accumulated over 20,000 subscribers and 5.4 million views. The role of Alex Knoll in escalating behavior. Documenting the meltdown. Throughout the recent live stream, Somali was accompanied by Alex Knoll, who appears to be documenting his behavior, possibly for a documentary project. Knoll's presence seemed to encourage rather than discourage Somali's criminal behavior. During the broadcast, Knoll himself launched into an unfounded conspiracy theory about Party.com, accusing the streaming platform of being a crypto mining website that uses viewers' phones to process complex computational equations that are meant to confirm tokens on the blockchain. These accusations appear to be completely baseless and potentially defamatory. Escalation in public spaces. Following their ejection from restaurants, Somali's behavior escalated in public spaces, including yelling racial slurs and making what appeared to be a bomb threat via text-to-speech donations. He was recorded screaming in public streets, potentially violating disorderly conduct laws. In one particularly troubling incident, Somali harassed a passerby, putting his hands on the stranger and wrapping his arm around the person's neck despite clear signs of discomfort and resistance. Psychological and legal analysis. Self-destructive pattern. The timing of these incidents, just days before a crucial court appearance, suggests a self-destructive pattern of behavior. In a separate video analyzing Somali's situation, Content creator Red Alert noted that some people work hard to build a career. Others, they work even harder to ruin their own lives on camera. And Johnny Somali, he's the gold medalist in that category. This assessment seems particularly apt given the deliberate nature of his criminal actions on livestream, which will almost certainly be used as evidence against him in court.
Legend. You are giving Brian Gallagher money that directly goes to Mr. Bass and all these on party. And not Johnny. You're giving it to people who are like Mr. Bass.
Legal consequences. Immigration lawyer Kim Joo-hyung has stated that Somali's existing charges would likely result in deportation. With these additional criminal acts now documented on video, his legal situation appears increasingly dire. Beyond the existing charges and the new crimes documented in the March 31st livestream, Somali may also be facing additional charges of stalking and harassment, according to a legal mindset analysis referenced in search results, stemming from incidents where he allegedly followed and harassed other streamers in South Korea. As his April 9th court date approaches, the additional evidence of criminal behavior will likely factor into the court's decision. For content creators and platforms alike, the Johnny Somali case represents an extreme example of the potential real-world consequences when online provocations cross into criminal territory. What are your views on this? Drop down in the comments and subscribe for more.